Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So what we're going to do is go through some stock charts. We're going to look at some trade ideas, and we're starting to see some movement happening in the market. So I think it's very important that everyone kind of keeps their pencil sharp and is able to, just stay on point with where things are moving. There's a lot of opportunity to make some money in this kind of a market because you've got such a one-sided market right now. You've had such a large amount of buying, a lot of longs. Everybody's long the market. Everybody's piled into the tech stocks, and that's all money that when things don't go their way, flood out. And it can be like everyone's running for the rats running for the door or something. And so, just something that we want to take advantage of if we're able to. So what I'm going to do is go through these charts here. Let's start out with the NASDAQ futures. NASDAQ has been really the only thing really worth watching, just because the market's been so barricaded into 4 or 5 stocks, that when those 4 or 5 stocks fall, the market falls. So it makes it pretty easy for traders to really understand when to short, because you just have to watch the NASDAQ. So here's the futures. If you looked at my last video, at the end of the video, since I'm always looking at an opportunity to short the market, especially such a high-flying overbought market like we have, I always try to cover at least some ideas around shorting the market. And what I pointed out was this wedge here that we had. We marked this wedge out, and I saw that the wedge broke, and then we did this full-on back test right here, and that was something that I was pointing out, that it looks like we're heading down, and I thought we were probably going to sell off. And so I actually got short right here on this big drop right here, right before the big drop. I was watching it intraday. I starting to sell, and I took that short with a full size position. And then as we started to drop down, I covered some of that. I actually covered it down here on the support line right here, and I traded the Q, so we'll show that. But just showing the futures is a good way to kind of show the price momentum. And then we broke that support and went down to the next support. Didn't quite get there. The next support's right here at 93.96, and I covered all my shorts over the weekend because we were down near the support. I suspect what they'll try to do is maybe open the market higher or ramp it up higher to make it look like things are going good up into this trend line right here, which would be resistance. But we did have a breakdown. So let's look at the Qs here. Now Qs is interesting because Qs, if I go out to a weekly chart just to show the bigger picture stuff, we got this blue line right here that I marked out, and this blue line, we only have 2 data points, but I wanted to watch it. I wanted to watch it to see if we could get any reactions around that. And if we bump it up to the daily chart, you can see that this blue line right here, we were trading above it. Here's this little ramp off of that blue line, this kind of ignition candle. We ramped off it, started to run up, and then it came right back down to it in 2 days' time. So you can see that when the selling gets going, it can really cover a lot of ground quickly. But we closed right on that blue line. So I'm going to leave that blue line up. I think that's a valid trend line that we had marked out. And we even undercut it slightly. We undercut it and then recovered it. So that is, that tells me that blue line right there that we had marked out for a while is going to be something to watch, where we'll get some reactions around. So we're going to leave that. And then we also, this red price channel that we have right here, you can see that we've been in this price channel, and we started to overshoot that channel. Usually when you do that, when you start to overshoot, you're gonna sell off and recover the channel, and that's exactly what we did. So in that video, I also said, watch for a recovery of this channel, and if we do that, then we probably could come down and hit the bottom end of the channel. So if they want to, maybe they want to gap it down on Monday or something, but watch the bottom range of this channel, because that should be your support. You can see we've had support, a couple support tags and reactions along that. So down there, somewhere in there, it should be your support. So on this trade, this short trade, I would, as of right now, with what we have on the charts, a good portion of the money's kind of already been made, and that's usually pretty common with shorting. The money's made really fast, so anybody who comes late to the game shorting, they usually get caught. But there might be some more here. This might be a bigger picture, and let me show you why I think that actually there's a very high probability that the top in the bull market is put in. Let's go to the SPY, and I put out a video a couple days ago really saying that this is probably the top of the market. And I've never really said that specifically in any of my videos, saying that we're at the very top. I've always said, there might be a good shorting opportunity here, but I've never really called the top of the bull market. And I put out that video, saying that, I think this might be the top, and it's the first time I've done that. But and maybe I'll probably be wrong. Probability says that I'm going to be wrong. Really hard to call the exact top, but I figured that we seem like we're close enough to where the top might be that it's a good time to kind of put out a video talking about that. So you can go back and look. I titled the video "The Top of the Market," and if you look at the SPY here, what I want you to notice is the purple line. I marked it purple. Just so it stands out, and this is your bull market. This is your decade-long bull market trend. I'm going to keep covering this just so everybody who's new can follow along. But you can see I'm going to roll it all the way up to kind of where we're at right now, and we'll go to the daily chart, and there's the purple line. So we overshot that purple line. I had said we were back testing this. We were back testing this from below. We'd made a perfect tag, and then we overshot it, but it was not very impulsive. We just barely overshot it, and this is topping action basically. This is where people are selling, and over the last 2 days, we sold down and came right back down underneath that resistance line, and now that's resistance again. So the decade-long trend line that's been in place is now resistance again. It did not really hold as support. We weren't really able to break out and recover it. And while this was happening, the Q's also recovered back down, closing basically at its trend line resistance, or you could be support. But the point is that this SPY chart has been my gauge for the reason why I've been looking to short this market. And that's because we broke that trend line back here in 2018. And so this decade-long bull run, I believe, came to an end back here when we broke this, and then we've just been back testing. So stocks can, when they break trend, they'll sometimes they'll just fall, just plunge and just head south. So, but almost more often, and especially if it's a really resilient trend, then you have people, money flows, 401ks, things like that don't believe that the bull market is over. They continue to buy the stock market. They don't see trend lines. So that's why I think we had this kickback rally that had taken place. And really the Federal Reserve reversing course pumped some more enthusiasm and cash into the market. And that's all also kind of helped the market continue higher. But the Federal Reserve's really out of a lot of bullets. At this point, they really have to sacrifice the dollar if they want to keep this market from, at least correcting or having some sort of a standard kind of recession move. If they want to keep it from doing that, they're going to have to start to sacrifice the dollar by printing a lot more money, because they don't really have rates. They don't have. They've got 1.5%. It's just not enough to do anything. So. That's kind of where we're at here. So the point is, the SPY, this big red candle, that's a sell signal. All right, that's a false breakout basically. So if you have a false breakout, you get a big weekly. This is the daily, but we'll go to the weekly to really show it. Here's your false breakout week, and followed by a impulsive selling week down. On more volume, a little bit more volume than kind of the previous week. Not a ton of volume, but the point is we've recaptured resistance, and I think that we're heading lower over the next few weeks to months. I'm looking to short actively again. I covered my short on Friday just because we closed right here at support, and what I'm looking for is maybe there's some sort of a little pop on Monday. I'll probably reestablish my short at that time because of the SPY chart. because the SPY has, had a false breakout. Okay, and we can't continue without talking about gold because gold's been on a tear. I've been a big fan of gold and gold mining stocks, preferably the miners. I don't buy gold bullion. There's just not enough action in that thing. But I have been buying the gold miners, and I've been talking about it for about a year and a half now. So I've been positioning for a big move, and we're starting to get that move. So here's Barrick Gold. I've been adding to this position for a while. Really, I started buying this position down here in this range, and the thing is up. I mean, from the very lows, it is up 120%. So that's a pretty nice move to take place in a year or so. And it's just gone almost parabolic. So we do have to watch for a pullback. I am looking for, some sort of a pullback. I'm still long Barrick because I don't, I'm not really looking to necessarily short it or looking to sell it unless I get some sort of clear sign that the bull run is over, because gold and gold mining stocks are in a bull market. Gold is just picking up speed, and the miners can run a lot farther. So I think this is just getting started, but we might get a little pullback. Maybe we come back down to this trend line, this 1994. I'll be adding to my position if we get it down there. Let's look at bullion. Here's bullion. Nice clean breakout on the weekly chart. I mean, this is a weekly chart, so when you get big moves on a weekly, they're bigger picture moves that don't just usually reverse on a dime. Now, you could easily see gold sell off next week, but the point is that this candle is a bullish candle where momentum's just starting to pick up. So we are overbought on the RSI, so keep an eye on that. But again, we've now recaptured this trading range, so 1900 is the target, and we're probably going to get there. We might fall short, or we might overshoot it. Moving on to, let's look at this Anno Eagle. I own this thing. Now, I did sell it on the 20th, Thursday. So I had pretty much a perfect trade on this thing. Bought it down here at support, right where I was saying in a video prior to this actually hitting. So all my calls, I'm usually calling it out before the stock actually gets there or right when it's there. Bought it down here at support. It ran right up to this resistance line for a 6.5% trade in 2 days. So that was good. And I sold it, took my profit, and then I saw that it gapped up above the next day and started to run higher, and then it came back down and held this support right here and started to move higher. And we've just been kind of bouncing around it a little bit, but we're above it right now. So I actually bought it back right here as we tagged support, and I still own this. So at this point, because it held that, if it can continue to hold this trend line right here, then I think we'll do a gap fill, and that's going to be up here at 57.50 basically, and that would be a pretty good trade. That would be another 10.5%. So 16.5% trade. That would be pretty good. The trend line that I get marked out right here comes from the hourly chart. You can just draw it out. You got a couple tags here, here, and right here. And then we did get confirming action when it had that big gap down with this green candle. It sold right down to this trend line and then started to bounce and then failed. So that's a reaction right on the trend line. So that validates that trend line. So when I saw it gap up and started to move higher above the trend and then come back down and tag it, I bought that as it was hitting support because of the reaction that we had. So if it can hold this and Monday, if the miners continue to catch a lot of bid, then this thing should catch some buyers, especially since it's kind of on sale with this big gap down, and it should do a gap fill. So Newmont's been on fire. I think Barrick's been a little bit hotter, a little bit better, but Newmont's been doing really good too. And this thing, I mean, look at this candle. This is a daily chart, and it's just gone pretty much parabolic straight up. It's that's a 12%, 11 and 0.8% move in just a couple days. So pretty big move for a big gold miner. But when these things run, they can't just go straight up. And so you want to make sure you're going to take advantage of it when it happens, and we got to capture some of this profit as it comes. But I think these have a little bit more room to run, and because gold bullion is in a bull market with this big basing pattern here, this huge basing pattern, rounding bottom on the weekly. This is a neckline break right here. So, this would be your neckline, or you probably could have considered this the neckline right here at 1400. But we're breaking back into the upper range. This should have the momentum to really shoot this thing higher. So the miners have the potential to kind of do a three bagger or whatever. I mean, they can really run. They can, go up huge. And so the junior miners are starting to look a little more promising because of the, just the bullish action in gold, and the majors are participating. And so the juniors usually are like rocket fuel when it comes to gold miners. So I own this one, SGSVF, Sabina Silver and Gold, and had a nice day on Friday. It was up 8%, I believe, right there. Yep, 8.5%. Nice ignition candle, and what I was looking for is to add to this position down here along support, but I'm not sure we're going to get there. This thing might start to make its run higher. Next line of resistance I see is, you've got a couple reactions up here. So we could say up around there, around $1.67. And then, you've kind of got this upper range right up in here. Yeah, right up in there around $1.90. So let's watch for those price targets, and we're going to go ahead and wrap the video here. Good luck, everyone. Hopefully you've been able to participate in some of the trades that I've been calling out. Give me a thumbs up if you're finding value in the content, and leave me a comment below on positions you're holding, stocks you're trading, setups that you see, anything you see that we can maybe share with the group. That'd be great. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Bye.